Peace, Love, Liberty Radio version 4.1. Initializing upgrades. Accessing peace. Existing without violence. With the ability to calmly resolve conflict. Downloading love. An overwhelming, deep, positive affection towards others. Activating liberty. Living your life as you see fit without infringing on the lives of others.
Ashes to ashes, we're falling down. Slaves to the men that stole the crown. There's a warning sign, like a blazing sun. You don't want to see because you're having fun. But those who control all the information celebrate and lie to the people to keep them watching.
Welcome to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio. Online at fppradio.com. I am your host, Darryl W. Perry, the Wolfman, the Liberty Penguin, the Wombat, the uncut cocaine of libertarianism. And, you know, I still use that, even though I don't necessarily talk a lot about philosophy as far as political philosophy. But I do intersperse it in with the discussions about the self-improvement sort of thing. And again, I forget who it was. I think it was somebody wrote an article for Slate, and they were trying to, you know, like talk bad about some of the libertarian candidates. And they called me the uncut cocaine of libertarianism, and I thought it was one of the coolest things I've ever read. And it's like, yeah, that kind of fits, so I'll use it. Now, I had mentioned last week about buying a new audio cable, and I have done that. Hopefully, and again, I don't think that all of the audio problems had to do with a bad cable, but a couple of the problems I know definitely did have to do with, I think, the connection where the microphone plugs into the cable. I think that was going bad on the other cable. This does seem to be a lot tighter of a connection. And again, I'm doing some stuff with the computer to hopefully wind up, you know, not having that weird problem to where just, you know, split seconds of audio just seem to disappear and words cut and jump. So let's jump into the actual article that I have brought to the table today, because I do bring, you know, various topics to the table. And again, the purpose of the show is to, you know, help me. It's kind of therapy for me in a way. And I realize that sounds very strange, that doing a podcast would be therapy. But when you think about it, therapy is, at least, you know, most forms of therapy. When people think about therapy, I'm going to see my therapist, they, you know, have this image in their mind of you sit on a couch, you might lie down on a couch, and I'm actually reclined right now in a reclined position, not completely flat, but, you know, in a somewhat relaxed position. And you have a pillow back behind your head, and you talk about your problems. And somebody sits there and listens. And a good therapist, from what I've heard, I've only ever been to a shrink one time. I'll explain that story later. But from what I've been told, a good therapist just sits and listens and doesn't actually, you know, offer advice for the most part. Now, every now and then, you know, they will say, well, have you tried doing this? Or have you tried doing that? Or have you tried not doing fill in the blank? But for the most part, therapy is somebody sitting there and talking about various problems. And that's kind of, you know, what I do in a way, is I'll bring up a topic of something that I think can help me and know that, you know, like, hey, somebody else might be dealing with this as well. And so I'll start going through the article and then be like, oh, and here's this thing about me. So again, this show is kind of personal therapy of helping me improve myself, become, you know, that better version of Darryl, while you also become a better version of you. And I know that people are enjoying the show because I've been getting a fair amount of fan mail recently. And a lot of those fan mail things include questions that wind up being asked and answered on the Wednesday Ask Me Anything So let's jump into the article here from Lifehack titled 5 Ways to Rewire Your Mind to Be More Positive. And, I know that I talk about this a good bit, about, like how to be positive. And part of it is because, not that I'm a negative person per se, but I'm not one of these, bouncy, joyful people. Like my standard sort of mood is kind of a neutral sort of thing. And I talked about a while back coming across the comic or whatever it was on Facebook where somebody had shared, like happy is kind of a weird word. And a lot of English words are kind of weird once you start thinking about them. But, there's some people like, oh, you just need to be happy. But most people are kind of a neutral. They're neither happy nor sad, right? And some people will think, well, if you're not happy, then you're negative. Or no, that's not it at all. Like there's a middle ground between, pessimist and optimist. And, like there's some people will be like, oh, well, that's mild depression. Maybe, I don't know. But how can you be more positive? And they begin here by saying it's a common misconception that great achievements are merely a result of hard work and luck. In actual fact, a positive attitude is the most critical factor for any success or living a happy, fulfilled life. And again, happiness is kind of a strange word that I'm not going to delve into again because I just sort of explained why. The article continues, you may not realize, but your attitude defines the very world you live through. They say it's the root of all of your successes, failures, actions, and reactions. Now, this is beginning to kind of sound like one of those things of, if you just think positive thoughts, then only positive things will happen to you. But I don't believe that. I know plenty of people that think positive thoughts all the time, and bad things happen, and then they try to say, well, it wasn't really that bad. Getting stuff stolen wasn't that bad because it allowed me to wind up, going shopping and meeting new people and having new experiences. Those people, the ones that are, just like always happy and don't acknowledge that bad things happen, those people might be psychopaths. But there's more. Stay tuned to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio.
You can support FPP Radio by shopping online. Whether you're looking for precious metals, bitcoins, or books, you'll find that and more at shop.fppradio.com. Every purchase you make from one of my affiliates, like Namecheap, Spendabit, and Amazon at shop.fppradio.com helps fund FPP Radio. Or you can shop directly from FPP with Bitcoin in the Bitcoin store. That's shop.fppradio.com. The Doublespeak Dictionary by Leslie Starr O'Hara satirizes the marked difference between the ideal of we the people and the reality of we the elite, while offering an insightful glimpse into the clockworks of the totalitarian mind. Ever irreverent but never irrelevant, the Doublespeak Dictionary serves as a subversive and humorous but timely reminder that the emperor has no clothes. The Doublespeak Dictionary is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores.
You're listening to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio with Darryl W. Perry, online at fppradio.com.
Welcome back to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio, online at fppradio.com. Oh, and one more thing that I forgot to mention at the beginning of the show. For some reason, there was a problem with the archive on Wednesday to where I uploaded it, and it appeared as though everything was okay with it, and then it sort of went back into this track is processing thing on SoundCloud, and I didn't realize it until Friday, and I, again, uploaded the track again on Friday, and, I actually forgot to check until right now to see if everything is good with that track. And it appears that it is. So, again, apologies on that AMA episode on Wednesday actually not being available until Friday. I swear I recorded and uploaded on Wednesday. I don't know what happened with SoundCloud. There must have been a glitch in the Matrix. And yes, it was the same cat. Only people that have watched The Matrix will get that joke. Now, getting back into the article here, and we're not even into the 5 tips that they have on how to rewire your mind to be more positive. We're still in sort of the prologue. They say if you're ever perplexed about how to be more positive, you'll be reassured to know it's very much under your own control. Becoming aware of your thoughts and feelings will allow you to change them on the spot. One cannot simply switch from a negative attitude to a positive one overnight. However, it can be achieved by anyone willing to dedicate time and willpower. If you feel trapped by a negative attitude, understand that positivity is rarely an inborn gift. It requires conscious acts to develop a positive attitude. And this is something that the always happy people seem to not realize, is that, yes, it is a conscious decision to, wind up not being in that neutral or possibly negative place. Like, you have to wake up and decide, I'm just going to be the most happy person in the world today, and I'm going to be so happy that I annoy everybody. That's a conscious decision. That is not something that you just wake up and do. It's like energy. You don't wake up and, like sometimes you might wake up really rested and be like, I've got a lot of energy. But for the most part, you have to decide to be energetic. Now, let's get into the meat of the article, how to be more positive using 5 habits. They say, remain grateful even when facing disappointments. And this is something that, I've tried, shifting my thinking on. And there's a podcast that I listen to. I know I've mentioned it previously. And no, I'm not being paid to mention this podcast, The School of Greatness, to where at the end of the interviews, the host, Lewis Howes, will always ask, what is your definition of greatness? What are you most grateful for right now? And then he's got the 3 truths question that I wound up answering as an Ask Me Anything because I really like the question, and I like the way that it makes you think about the answer. Now, if you are not familiar with the 3 truths question, it is thus. Imagine that today is your last day. Everything you've ever created, everything you've ever done, every project you've ever worked on is gone. But your friends and your family and everybody that you care about are all with you as you lay on your deathbed. And they hand you a piece of paper and say, this is the only thing we will have to remember you by. Write down 3 things that you know to be true about life. And I love the variations of answers that people give to that question. But there's also the, what are you most grateful for right now? And it's something that, again, it makes you think of, what am I grateful for right now? And, it could be something as simple as, I woke up today and I was able to get out of bed and go to work. It could be that I have a job to go to. It could be that, you have a pet or you have a roommate that helps you pay your bills. It could be anything. But what are you most grateful for right now? And I have this in my task manager of I answer the question every day. And again, sometimes it's just I'm not in the ground. Like I'm still alive and breathing. Sometimes that is what I'm grateful for. But again, number 1, they say, remain grateful even when facing disappointment. They then write, there's always going to be times when things go wrong. It is a fact of life, a necessity for growth and eventual prosperity. Yet during the moment, It's difficult to see the bigger picture. Instead, the world seems to cave in around us. So the next time you experience one of those "I wish I'd never done that" moments, don't linger with the negativity of regret. Instead, accept that you cannot change the past. The best thing you can do right now is to learn from the experience, be grateful, and move on. Number 2 on the list here of 5 things or 5 ways to rewire your mind to be more positive: stay faithful even when all is hopeless. Faith, they say, is the most powerful driving force. It will keep you sailing true regardless of waves thrown by the sea of life. At times you may feel hopeless and want to give up, but you must remember they are only momentary. There's no use wondering and worrying whether things are ever going to work out. Accept the fact that what's meant to happen will happen. Have a faith in yourself and continue to do the best that you can. Instead of worrying about the future, you should be enjoying and making the most of your current moment. And I realize that this can be difficult. There are times in various aspects of my life to where I'm like, screw it, I'll just go focus on something else. And it happens. It happens to everybody, but you cannot become completely hopeless. You can't. There are 3 more ways to rewire your mind to be more positive. Stay tuned to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio.
Are you sick of government lackeys who say you didn't build that? Are you tired of elitists who think you need a government permission slip for everything? Everything you do is an A to B conversation, and the government should see their way out of it. Create true free markets by adopting the BIPCOT No Government License. The BIPCOT No Gov license allows use or modification of any product, service, or software except by governments or government agents. Go to BIPCOT.org. That's Bravo, India, Papa, Charlie, Oscar, Tango.org.
Bitcoin Not Bombs is a launching pad for nonprofits and social entrepreneurs into the financial freedom of the Bitcoin economy. Bitcoin Not Bombs offers premium publicity campaigns designed to facilitate an organization's adoption of Bitcoin as a payment system. Bitcoin Not Bombs is fully committed to being the hub of the nonprofit sector of the Bitcoin economy, maximizing the potential cross-promotion of all our clients and commercial partners. To learn more, visit bitcoinnotbombs.com.
Hi, this is Roger Paxton from the Lava Flow Podcast, the Free Coast Freecast, and Pax Libertas Productions, and you're listening to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio with Darryl W. Perry.
Hey, welcome back to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio, online at fppradio.com. 5 ways to rewire your mind to be more positive. Number 1 is to remain grateful even when facing disappointments. Number 2 is to stay faithful even when all is hopeless, meaning don't lose your faith. Number 3, very closely related to number 2, and it's a good thing that it comes in right behind it. Give love even when you are unappreciated. True love, they write, must always be unconditional for both self and others. It should not be used as a reward or activated by the right emotions. You've got to learn to live through continually, and positivity will flow through you. Or rather, you have to learn to live through love continually, and positivity will flow through you. If others hurt you with their behavior or actions, stay positive by accepting the fact that you cannot control the actions or emotions of others, but only your own. Don't let their negativity influence your reactions. If you begin to question what is wrong with you, remember, you are perfect the way you are, and if others can't see or accept it, then so be it. And this is, I would say, the thing that I personally struggle with the most. And, part of this is because I've been single for as long as I have been. to where I then start to wonder, like, what is wrong with me? Is there something, just inherently wrong with Darryl? And, people remind me, well, it's not you, it's them. Well, like, it seems to be a lot of, thems running around, I guess. I don't know. But you start looking, and then, like, the comparing yourself to other people, and I know that, like, that's not healthy, and it's not something that should be done. But, what was the thing we talked about last week about the inner voice that you hear? The inner voice? Yeah. So, like that inner voice of, well, so-and-so did this, or so-and-so has a girlfriend. And it's one of the things, I don't know if you've seen, it's supposed to be humorous, but to me it's depressing as hell. The thing where it said, Hitler had a girlfriend and you're still single. Ha ha ha. Yeah, that's supposed to be funny, but it's not. It's not. It really isn't. 2 more things here on the list of 5 ways to rewire your mind to be more positive. Trust in the power of positivity, even in times of hardship. As the world-famous tag team champion New Day would say, believe in the power of positivity. And also, eat your bootios, because they make sure that you ain't booty. Believe in the power of positivity, or as they have it written here, trust in the power of positivity, even in times of hardship. We are all tested at times during life, yet positivity can provide a shining guide that guides you through the darkest moments. However, if you don't trust in positivity, you are left at the mercy of others and circumstance. Always remember that whatever you're doing or facing, a positive attitude will enable you to perform far better than a negative one. If you find yourself slipping into negativity, reignite your positivity by affirming these beliefs. Pessimism leads to weakness, optimism leads to power, and perpetual optimism is a force multiplier. And number 5, and this is something that kind of was touched on, I think on Friday when I was talking about Thomas Edison. Failure can always be a blessing in disguise. Your attitude, whether positive or negative, will apply a filter to every situation you face in life. Negative attitudes suffer the worst failures, and their successes are dulled or momentary, whereas positive attitudes are highly resourceful, finding value in every situation they encounter. Let's say you get declined for your dream job. It's easy to see the situation as a complete failure, yet by simply shifting your mindset, it becomes a valuable experience. Perhaps you gained a valuable insight into the interview process, allowing you to far better prepare next time. Or maybe it results in a different career choice that fulfills you even more. So instead of dwelling on failure, seek out the value and use it to reinforce your future. And this is something I do agree. They don't dwell on failure, but at the same time, if you don't allow yourself to ever wind up acknowledging that, bad things happen, and you never allow yourself to grieve for something, then that's not healthy either. And that's something that I think a lot of people don't really understand, is that, your mind is meant to go, these highs and lows. If you're always up, that's as bad for you as far as, like the wiring structure of your brain as if you're always depressed. If you're always in this, everything's just perfect and nothing ever goes wrong, then you lose empathy. And that's not healthy. This is Peace, Love, Liberty Radio.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.xyz, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.xyz today to find out more. Coinbase is a simple and secure online Bitcoin wallet for sending, receiving, and storing Bitcoin. Coinbase also allows you to buy and sell Bitcoin using a bank account or use their tools to accept Bitcoin as a merchant. Coinbase has more than 1 million consumer wallets and is trusted by over 25,000 merchants, including Overstock.com, Khan Academy, Reddit, and of course, FPP. Get started at coinbase.fppradio.com.
You're listening to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio with Darryl W. Perry, online at fppradio.com.
Welcome back to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio, online at fppradio.com. I've got a question for you. Yes, I know every Wednesday I answer your questions. I do. You can send those over to AMA at fppradio.com. That's AMA as in Ask Me Anything at fppradio.com. But right now, I've got a question for you. Are you an advocate for free market money? Do you promote Bitcoin as an alternative in a fiat-centric world? If so, then you need Spend-A-Bit in your arsenal. Spend-A-Bit is a search engine for things you can buy with Bitcoin. Spend-A-Bit aggregates millions of products from thousands of Bitcoin-enabled merchants like Free Press Publications, where you can buy a bunch of books. Some of them have even won awards, including A Rebel's Journey, My Path to Liberty, which was recently named as a finalist in the memoir category for 2016 for the Book Excellence Awards. You can buy that with Bitcoin. And so much other stuff. You will be able to find all of that you can buy with Bitcoin at Spend-A-Bit. Keep your money in the free economy. Spend a bit. Use my affiliate link, spendabit.fppradio.com. And if you're a Bitcoin accepting merchant, like I am, ask about their merchant suite to reach even more customers. That's spendabit.fppradio.com. Spendabit.fppradio.com. And if you don't have Bitcoin or you're not yet using Bitcoin, then, well, you can go over to bitcoin.com. Learn more about the original cryptocurrency. Yes, I said the original cryptocurrency. Bitcoin has been around since early 2009. An unnamed hero name, or not unnamed, he has a name, or she, or they, an anonymous creator known only by the name Satoshi Nakamoto created Bitcoin and gave it to the world back in 2009. And since then, there have been a lot of things that have sort of taken what Bitcoin is and tried to improve upon it. Some of those have done a better job than others, but Bitcoin is the original. Bitcoin.com to learn more. And once you have Bitcoin and you want to spend it, spendabit.fppradio.com. And as I said, every Wednesday I answer your questions. Send those over, ama@fppradio.com.
The podcasts of FPP Radio are licensed under Copy Heart. We believe that copying is a form of flattery and do not abide by the copyright laws. Those laws serve to restrict the flow of ideas which no one can really own. Copying is an act of love. Love is not subject to law. If you enjoy the show, consider joining the Fans program and get perks like ad-free versions of Peace, Love, Liberty Radio and FPP Radio News, and also get a copy of the monthly newspaper FPP News. To learn more or to join the Fans program, visit fans.fppradio.com.